Hi everybody, welcome to Dulcimerica. My name is Futch, and I'm just noodling in North Carolina. I'm in Lenoir, I think that's how you pronounce it, L-E-N-O-I-R, Lenoir, North Carolina. I'm on fall tour, I'm in between shows, it's my off day, and I haven't shaved, I didn't dress up. I just came out here to sit under the canopy with the rain and pick around a little bit, and I figured this would be a good opportunity to talk about how you can just improv and make things up and not have to think about things a whole bunch. So thank you very much for joining me. That thing I just played, I just made it up just out of the top of my head. It's a lovely, cold, finally, day. It's not terribly cold. I'm wearing shorts for crying out loud, but it's a nice change. We're finally entering into fall up here, and it's been raining all morning. And it's just kind of calmed down enough where occasionally some of these drops are falling from the trees onto the awning. And there's some more rain coming, so I'm trying to get this done before it opens up and becomes really super noisy. And so I'm using this experience, I'm using this atmosphere, this environment to inspire the improvisation. So let's talk a little bit about improvisation and exactly what is all being entailed here. What we're looking at is just making things up. Now, this can be very informed improvisation. For example, knowing that you're in a certain key, knowing that you're working with a certain scale, and knowingly making decisions based on that. And then you've got, I think, would be more of a casual improvisation, where you don't think about anything in terms of music theory, and you simply just go at it, and you do what sounds good to you. But there are some theories and some ideas that I can throw at you here to give you an idea about how best to put that together. So let me just kind of start throwing some stuff out there. What I was doing, first of all, was I was playing some harmonics here to simulate the sound of the raindrops landing on the awning, on the deck, on the leaves, and all that. And so I was just kind of doing these harmonics. Harmonics, of course, if you just lay your finger down on top of the string very lightly, right over the fret, not to the left of the fret, but directly over the fret, and touch lightly and then pluck, you get these really nice bell tones. And to me, those sound an awful lot like a good musical representation of raindrops coming down. So I started off with that because it's like a rainstorm starting, very, very light. And then, as I began to play more, that could be the rain increasing, you know, how intense it's coming down and that type of thing. So that's one idea of being able to take your surroundings, your environment, and use that to create and develop a theme. There's also a creek running right behind my campsite here. And so some of that idea of water flowing down the mountain, here comes the rain, a little bit heavier. I think I may have brought that on, who knows. In any case, I'm using my surroundings to inform what I want as far as action and activity here on the fretboard. So when you're doing something like this, let's say we're in D-A-D, I'm in D-A-D tuning. And so maybe unconsciously I'm being aware of the fact that I'll be using chords out of the key of D. But I wasn't playing full chords here. I was really mainly hanging on that melody string. And instead of strumming across all three strings all the time, I was picking individual notes, like this. That little pattern right there is very, very simple. You don't have to stick to the same pattern all the way through your improv, but it helps to have a kind of a feel for it. So do you want to try and count out quarter note, eighth note, 16th note to try and figure out that rhythm? Or do you just want to sort of do something? You know, maybe you pat on your leg when you're thinking about something. Maybe you just instinctively, intuitively find some pattern that speaks to you in the moment. If you like the way that sounds, then try and stick with that particular way that you're picking through the strings and go automatic with your right hand. Don't think about it. Just let it do what it wants to do over there And then you can focus on moving your left hand, and if you're a southpaw, we would flip that whole thing around. Concentrate on moving your fretting hand around, and then picking out these tones that, again, speak to you in the moment, and maybe describe the situation that you're in, the atmosphere, the environment, the place, the mood, all of those things. It all is completely up to you, what you pull your inspiration from. So maybe get a little rhythm going in here, and if you find yourself coming up with something that sounds an awful lot like a song, if it sounds like it makes sense, think about how we maybe can use poetry. When we say something, lines of poetry, those last words of each line are probably going to rhyme. And we create this balanced flow, whether an A, B, B rhyming scheme or an A, B, rhyming scheme. You can pick out some sort of a pattern here and then create the same sort of offset. Maybe I go, that to me sounds like it would be like an A, B rhyming convention. Man, this place got busy. No one has been driving up and down this road for the past 20 minutes. As soon as I come out here, it's like the Indy 500 here. Okay, now maybe an A, B rhyming scheme musically would be like this. So the way I start off those little phrases are the same each time, but where I end up with the note melodically changes every other time. Again, you don't want to think too much about that. You simply want to just play from your heart. They don't have to match at all. You can go free form and make everything you do be completely unique. But if you want to try and challenge yourself to create a song that sounds like you actually crafted it on the fly, those are some suggestions to how you can make that happen. Another thing is, if you want to add some of those harmonies in as you're moving around on the melody string, think about two different configurations that'll give you every single time wonderfully juicy harmonies. One is wherever you are on the melody string, go back 2 frets on the middle string, and that's going to give you a nice harmony. Another good position is from the melody that you're hitting, go up 1 fret over on the middle string, 1 fret upwards, and you'll get these little partial harmonies like this. And of course, you can flip those over, lead off from the bass string, and then go back, go down 2 frets on the middle string. You can also go from the bass string and come up 1 on the middle string, 1 fret. That way you'll always have 1 string that is sustaining, vibrating, creating a drone for you to play against. You also don't have to worry about closing up all those chords and putting your fingers on every single string. So physically it's going to be a lot more relaxing and easy for you to play through. So as you're moving that melody around, inspired by your surroundings or inspired by your emotions, take your time with it. Play something, listen to it, and make adjustments as you see fit. And you can change your picking pattern if you like. The whole idea here being is that you don't want to think too much about your right hand. You do want to think about your left hand and As you're playing each of these combinations of strings, ask yourself, do I like the way this sounds, or do I want to try and change that? Try and remember the path that you took up and down the fretboard, and then see if you can do the exact same thing twice, or see if you can purposely turn it around and make it go in a different direction. Try and repeat that. Or try and do something completely different with it. The fun thing about this is that there is nothing written down. There is no right way and there's no wrong way. All you have to do is go from the gut. Go from your instinct, play what makes you happy, and explore. And there are two things happening here. One is that you are making music in the moment, which is wonderful. But second, you're also tuning your ears to where certain notes are located up and down the fretboard. And the more you look at your fingers, listen to what's being played, see the configuration that you're using for some of these partial chords, you're actually starting to identify these tones, these chords, these combinations, and you'll be able to bring those up and recall them as you're doing your own songwriting or more improvisation exploration just like this. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to come back and do a part 2 to this episode, since it seems to be the perfect environment right now, besides the cars, to explore and just have some fun getting to know our mountain dulcimer without having to bang ourselves over the head with all kinds of rules and stuff like that. So I'll be back next week with more. In the meantime, noodle, noodle, noodle. Thank you for joining me, everybody. And if you like this sort of stuff, you might also enjoy my Patreon, which includes all of my self-published books, CDs, videos, and tablature, everything I've ever produced for $5 a month. That includes everything new that I do every single week. If you're interested in trying out to see all this stuff I've got available, go to patreon.com/BingFutch. Check out the featured tag section, download all that stuff that's free for your heart, and then please do consider becoming a patron. And I love my patrons because they make Dulcimerica possible every single week. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.